I started playing FF14 shortly before the launch of Heavensward. I had played 1.0 a little bit when it had first come out and kind of hated it, but a good friend recommended to me that I come back because the game had changed, and so I did, and I loved it. It was the only MMO that I would play for a very, very long time. All the way through Heavensward, through Stormblood, through Shadowbringers, and through Endwalker, I only MMO'd with FF14. And shortly after finishing Endwalker, I found that I felt differently about 14. And it was causing some problems for me because I love 14. I love the world of 14. And I couldn't figure out what it was at the time that I was burned out on. I couldn't figure out exactly what it was that was stopping me from enjoying 14 the way that I had before. Every expansion before that, I would finish the expansion on a character, I would finish the story, and then I would go back through and level all of the other jobs on that character, on my main character, and I would level them all up and gear them all, and all the crafters, all the gatherers, they all had to be at max because I wanted to play around with them all, and I wanted to experience everything the game had to experience. It was fresh and it was new just about every day because I was switching between the jobs and I was having a great time. But it also meant that I was dedicating a lot of time to getting gear. And the gear treadmill in FF14, it takes a lot of work if you want to gear every job. And honestly, it takes a lot of work to gear just one job. And at the time, I didn't realize that that's the thing that was keeping me away. And so I stopped playing. And it was tough for me to do. It was tough to unsubscribe from 14 because I had been subscribed basically from Heavensward through. And I didn't want to stop interacting with that world, but I wasn't having fun when I played. I couldn't bring myself to enjoy it anymore the way that I was before. And now I know that it's because of not just burnout of playing the one singular same game over and over and over again, but also it was burnout because I was tired of being on the treadmill. And so people that watch this channel a lot will know that I used to make a lot of guides for 14. I used to make a lot of videos reacting to trailers, having a good time there. But then all of a sudden I started trying out other games. I did a video on Guild Wars 2. And I wound up really enjoying Guild Wars 2. And Guild Wars 2 became my MMO that I play all the time. And it doesn't have a gear treadmill. So I was really having a great time. And I still am. I don't want you to watch this video and think that I'm going to stop playing Guild Wars 2. But there was something more that I wanted. That old craving was there, eating at me, wanting quests, wanting a more traditional style MMO, which Guild Wars 2 definitely is not. Guild Wars 2 is incredible for all of its differences and for the fact that you can take a break from that game and come back and you're still geared fine. You can do all the high-end content. You can stop playing for a long time and you don't have to pay a sub, so you can just walk away and come back whenever you feel like it, interact with the game as much as you want. And I'm still playing it every day. Every day I'm logging into my characters, I'm getting my chests that I have them all parked at, I'm gathering all my stuff, I'm doing my dailies, and I'm having a great time. But I was hungry for quests. And so I started playing Lotro. Lord of the Rings Online gave me all the questing that I could ever want. There are quests everywhere, and almost all of them have really deep storylines that connect with the world, connect with other things you're doing in the world, and it's incredibly satisfying. And yet still, I found that little bit craving something else. And I had thought, well, it must have been quests, right? And I'm not going to stop playing Lotro either. I love playing Lotro. I play it every Monday here on the channel at 7 Central along with Rundgren, and we play through the entire story. I'm having a great time. We just now have gotten into Eregion, and we're going towards Moria, and I'm really excited there. I love Lotro for its questings, and every day I log in, do a little bit on my Warden, or a little bit on my Lore Master. I almost said War Master, and I have a good time there. And there's still going to be guides coming out for both Guild Wars and Lotro. But if it wasn't quests that I was missing, What was it? I wanted good instant content, right? So I tried skirmishes, and they're fun. They are fun. They're good. Skirmishes and Lotro, they're good. But it wasn't quite what I was looking for. I wanted traditional roles, and so I tried dungeons in Guild Wars, and I tried fractals in Guild Wars, and those are really great. The dungeons, a little bit less than the fractals, but the fractals are really fun, and I had a good time there, but I was still missing the traditional role-based system. And so I started looking at my other options, and there was talk of ESO or BDO or even World of Warcraft, and I didn't want to go to any of those. But there was an old friend calling, "Hey, I've got really good dungeons. Hey, I've got really good music in those dungeons. You love that music, right? Hey, we've got multiple roles. DPS, healer, tank. You're very bound by those roles, and you can just be a tank today. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can just be a healer today. You don't have to worry about anything else. You can just be a DPS today. You don't have to worry about anything else." Man, maybe I'll give 14 a shot again. And I'm loving it. I go to each of these 3 MMOs for very different reasons. And ultimately, what I find is in Lotro, I get invested into the world. I get invested in story. I get invested in the side quests and everything going on there, as the lore of this world is so rich that I want to learn more about it. I want to fill out these little side quest areas and follow up with these quests, and I love it so much. In Guild Wars, I love the combat. In all of the other games I play now with a keyboard, I try to roll because Guild Wars has taught me that roll, and I love that roll. But I also love the ease of, hey, you know, I'm having a good time here, but I'm gonna switch over to Scrapper to be a little bit tankier, and then I'm gonna jump in here and do some damage. Or you know what, this is great, but I kind of just want to play Willbender right now. I'm gonna switch over to Willbender. Or you know what, this is good, but I think my Renegade would be really fun to play around on right now. And being able to just switch around between all of those with the account-wide progression, having everything basically unlocked for them because I've already unlocked it, it's really satisfying. And so I play Guild Wars for the combat. And a little bit the story, too, honestly. I think I'm nervous about getting into Icebrute Saga, but the story's been really good in Guild Wars so far, with the exception of maybe Season 1. I think it's been really, really solid. And I play 14 for the instance content. And for the story. And you may say, well, you can't just say you play all of them for the story. But they're all really well-told stories. They really honestly are. And when it comes down to it, which of the 3 is better? I could not tell you. Because I like them all for different things. I like 14's instance content where I can just queue up instead of having to try and find a group with the LFG tool in Guild Wars. I can just queue into something and go do something else. I can go fish or I can go gather while I'm queued up for it. I like being able to very quickly get between all these zones that I love because I've built up enough on this character that I can do that. I have Aetheryte tickets. I have priority stuff. And there's so much to do. But I'm not going to go back to the gear treadmill. Because if I do, I'm afraid I'll just burn out again. I put years of my life into FF14, and I don't regret those at all. I love the game. I love what I've been able to accomplish in the game. I love what I've unlocked in the game. But the vast majority of my old gear doesn't matter. And so the weeks upon weeks upon weeks of running expert roulettes, getting tomestones and running raids, and getting tomestones to be able to get that new gear so that I can get to the next thing. I came back from this break, and I can get a better weapon for my Sage than I had at the end of Endwalker with hunt marks, which are one of the easiest currencies to get in the game. I can just get a better weapon right now. I can go to the market board. I have over 3 million gil that I've saved up. I can just go buy another one. Why did I convince myself I had to get on that treadmill? And I believe it's because I felt like I had to be competitive. I had to be right up there. but all the content that's lower than max level is synced anyway. So the treadmills only really matters if you're savage raiding or if you're somebody that wants to be best in slot at all times. And I'm not going to try and tell you you're wrong for that, because I did that for a long time. I don't think that's even necessarily a bad thing to do. Just be wary of burnout. Because I burned out of having to log in every day and do all of my dailies to be able to get the tomes that I need to be able to get my next piece so that I can stay best in slot before that next patch drops. And it doesn't necessarily feel like that grind was worth it. Because I'm playing now and I'm not worrying about being best in slot. I'm not just going to have slots unequipped or not have good gear in them. But I don't have to grind out tomes all the time to get the best gear. I'm perfectly fine just having good gear. Having gear that's at level. Having gear that's a decent eye level. I can craft it myself. I don't even necessarily need to go grind the tomes. And I think that's what frustrates me the most, since I had been leveling my crafters this whole time. I could have just been crafting it myself. But I was convinced I needed to grind a treadmill. Had to get the best gear every time, no matter what. And that's not what 14 is about. It's what you can turn it into. But 14 is about the story. It's about the continuing journey of the Warrior of Light. 14 is about finding all these cool side spots in the world, doing the Beast Tribe quests, and slowly building up their trust and unlocking a sick mount because of it, you know? 14 is about learning your job and having a good time playing that job. And I turned it into a regular job. Not the fun stuff that I was doing for YouTube. I turned playing 14 into a regular job. And I deeply regret that, because I don't regret walking away from it the first time, because since I walked away from it, I found 2 other games that I love that don't have monthly subscriptions. And so I don't have to feel bad if I'm not playing them every day, though I still am currently. I still get to be a part of those worlds because I walked away from 14 the first time. But I'm back. And I'm loving it. 14 is great when I'm not worried constantly about getting the best in slot gear all the time. And there's going to be some comments on this video, I'm sure, that are going to be like, you know, hey, you're letting your party down if you're not best in slot because you could have better stats than you do. Again, I'm not saying that I'm going to go into something 40 eye levels below what I should be doing. There's a reason I haven't run expert roulette since I come back. I'm still relearning how to play. I'm still relearning the jobs, especially with changes that happened while I was gone. But I do think that if somebody had told me, hey, relax on that treadmill, I might not have burned out the way that I did. And so that's what I'm trying to do today, I guess. I quit 14 because of the treadmill. I'm back to 14 because I've unplugged the treadmill. And I'm having a great time. I really wanted to make this video just to announce that we'd be making more 14 content, I guess, but it turned into almost a case study on MMOs, and gear treadmills can be really, really gripping. They can give you a reason to keep playing a game that you've done everything else in, but I haven't done everything else in 14. I haven't even started on Island Sanctuary yet. I know that came after I quit, but I never finished Eureka. There's so much that I didn't get done because I was so focused on that treadmill. And I want to dedicate time to doing those things that I didn't get to do before now. Obviously, we're still going to be making content on Guild Wars. We're still going to be making content on Lotro. I'm not giving up on those games just because I'm back to 14. I do think there's room in my life for all 3 of these games. And I love them all for very different reasons. I want to do like a big video at some point that's a roundup of the best things from each one, with like a chart and everything, like really put the time into it. But let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Have you ever quit playing an MMO because the grind got too bad? Or because of a self-imposed thing that you did that stole the enjoyment of it from you? And what do you think about the gear treadmill in 14? Do you think it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be? Or do you think that it absolutely can be? When I say gear treadmill, I'm talking about doing raids and having to trade in specific tokens for a piece of gear and then go back and level up that piece of gear and upgrade that piece of gear by turning in other tokens that you get from different things just to be able to get a slight number increase that you're not even going to see in most content in the game. Let me know your thoughts on that. Maybe you think it does matter. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think that I'm wasting my time getting back into 14 and that I should focus on Lotro and Guild Wars. And maybe you don't. Let me know your thoughts. Until next time, though, I've been Trey. This has been the Full Spectrum. And we're back in FF14, baby. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that Final Fantasy XIV has to offer.